Hey, did you know that nearly 60% of single women say they feel happier and more in control of their lives than when they're in relationships? Crazy, right? So here's a question for you. What if being single for a long time actually makes you stronger, not lonely or incomplete? Let's talk about that. If you're watching this, chances are you identify as a Sigma female. You're independent, confident, and you don't follow the crowd. You carve your own path, do things your way, and don't feel the need to prove yourself to anyone. That's powerful. But what happens when you stay single longer than most? What does it really mean for a Sigma woman like you? Here's the deal. Society loves to put pressure on women to be in relationships, especially when you're on the longer side of singlehood. Family asks, friends wonder, and the world kinda expects you to settle down. But for a Sigma female, that pressure can feel like a clash against your core, sometimes bringing loneliness or making you question if you're missing out. Let's break down what happens when you stay single. 1. A Sigma female gets mad time for personal growth, like seriously, no distractions pulling her away from leveling up. When a Sigma female is single for a while, it's like she's handed this golden ticket to focus on herself. No compromises, no interruptions, just pure, uninterrupted growth. Imagine this. No need to split attention between someone else's feelings, plans, or expectations. Her time becomes entirely hers. She can wake up and decide exactly how she wants to spend her day, what habits to build, and what goals to chase. That kind of freedom is rare, and it's a massive advantage. Without the constant back and forth of a relationship, she can dive deep into her own development, whether that means mastering a new skill, pushing her career forward, or investing in her mental and emotional health. When she's not distracted by someone else's needs or the drama that sometimes comes with relationships, her energy goes directly into becoming the best version of herself. It's like she's on this solo mission to upgrade her life, and every step she takes is fully focused on her own growth. No compromises, no pauses, just pure forward momentum. She can experiment with new routines, learn to set boundaries that work for her, and explore what truly makes her happy without second-guessing if it fits into a couple's plan. Plus, with all that extra time and mental space, she starts to understand herself on a deeper level. She gets to know her strengths, her weaknesses, what lights her up, and what drains her. This self-awareness is gold because it lays the foundation for everything else: her confidence, her decisions, her future relationships, and her overall happiness. It's not just about skills or achievements. It's about building a stronger, clearer sense of who she is and what she wants from life. When a Sigma female is single this long, she's essentially becoming her own best friend and biggest supporter. She learns how to motivate herself, how to stay disciplined, and how to celebrate her own wins, big or small. There's no waiting around for someone else to cheer her on or validate her progress. She becomes her own hype squad. This independence in personal growth creates a sense of pride and fulfillment that's totally unmatched. And here's another thing. Without distractions, she can take her time to heal from past experiences, whether that's old relationships, family issues, or personal struggles. She's not rushing into anything new just to avoid being alone. Instead, she uses this time to work through her feelings, develop healthier coping mechanisms, and come out stronger. This kind of deep healing and self-care is hard to do when she's caught up in the whirlwind of a relationship. Staying single longer gives her the space to rebuild herself from the inside out, so she doesn't carry old baggage forward. It's like laying down a fresh foundation for the next chapter of her life. The beauty of all this is that her personal growth during this single phase isn't just for her. It affects everything around her. She becomes more confident in her decisions, clearer about her boundaries, and more aligned with her values. This makes her friendships richer, her work more fulfilling, and her future relationships healthier because she shows up as her true empowered self. In a way, being single for this long gives her a rare gift, the chance to fully invest in herself without distraction. It's a time to learn, to grow, to heal, and to thrive on her own terms. So yeah, Having mad time for personal growth isn't just a bonus of being single. It's one of the most powerful reasons to embrace it fully. No distractions, no compromises, just her leveling up every single day. If this part resonates with you, drop a like or share your growth story in the comments. Let's celebrate your journey together. Now, let's move on. 2. A Sigma female's freedom becomes her greatest asset. She decides when, where, and how to live without compromise. Being single for a longer time means a Sigma female holds the reins to her life in a way that most people don't get to experience. There's no one else's schedule, preferences, or demands to juggle. She wakes up each day and chooses exactly what she wants to do, where she wants to go, and how she wants to spend her time. That kind of freedom is powerful because it puts her fully in control of her own happiness and decisions. It's like owning her life 100%, and that's rare and precious. When she's not in a relationship, she gets to prioritize herself and her dreams without needing to check in or adjust for someone else's needs. She can say yes to opportunities that excite her or say no without guilt because she's the one living her life. Want to move across the country or take a last-minute trip? She just does it. Want to spend hours on a new hobby or career goal? No problem. She doesn't have to explain her choices or negotiate how her time is spent because it's all hers. This freedom to live on her terms allows her to build a life that truly fits who she is. There's no pressure to conform to anyone else's expectations or compromise her values. She gets to set the rules for her life, which means more authenticity and less stress. She starts to notice that the things that make her happy might not be the same things that others expect from her, and that's totally okay. She learns to trust her instincts and embrace her unique path. With this freedom comes the ability to create boundaries that protect her peace. She decides how much time she spends with friends, family, or at work. She decides when to say no to situations that don't serve her or drain her energy. Because her time and space belong to her, she becomes really skilled at protecting them. She doesn't have to explain why she needs space or why she's saying no. She just does it because it feels right. That kind of self-respect is a huge win, and it grows stronger the longer she's on her own. Living without compromise also means she gets to experiment with her lifestyle and values without outside pressure. Want to switch careers, live in a tiny house, or change her daily routine? She has the freedom to explore those options without having to get anyone else's approval. This is the kind of freedom that encourages creativity and boldness because she's not held back by anyone else's expectations or fears. It's her life, her rules, her way. But freedom isn't just about big decisions. It's in the little things too. She chooses what to eat, when to sleep, how to spend her weekends, or even what her personal style is. Every day, she gets to practice living authentically, and that builds a foundation of confidence and satisfaction. Over time, she realizes that this freedom is one of her most valuable assets because it fuels her growth, happiness, and sense of self. It helps her stay true to who she is and create space for the life she really wants. Sure, there are moments when freedom feels a little lonely or overwhelming, but it's also what makes her a powerful, independent woman. Owning her freedom means she doesn't settle for less or do things just because that's what people do. Instead, she lives intentionally, choosing every part of her life to fit her unique goals and desires. So her freedom isn't just about being single. It's about being the architect of her own life. It's the greatest gift she can give herself because it lets her live without compromise, on her own terms. And that's a game changer. 3. A Sigma female learns to trust herself on a whole new level because she's her own boss. When a Sigma female is single for a long stretch, something powerful happens. She stops relying on others to validate her choices or confirm she's on the right path. Instead, she becomes the ultimate decision-maker in her life. She starts to realize that the best advice, guidance, and encouragement actually come from within. No one knows her goals, dreams, and limits better than she does. So trusting herself becomes not just a choice, but a necessity. Being her own boss means she's the one calling the shots, setting the pace, and owning every success and mistake along the way. That kind of responsibility can feel intimidating at first, but over time, it builds an unshakable confidence. She begins to see that she's capable of handling whatever life throws at her because she's the one steering the ship. There's no more waiting for permission or second-guessing her gut feelings. Instead, she learns to listen deeply to her own instincts and act on them. This self-trust lets her make decisions faster and with more clarity because she knows she doesn't have to please anyone else or explain herself constantly. She's accountable to herself, and that freedom is incredibly empowering. When she trusts herself, she also learns how to set clear boundaries. She knows what she will and won't accept, and she stands firm in those decisions without feeling guilty or unsure. This kind of confidence in her judgment protects her time, energy, and peace of mind. It keeps her focused on what really matters and lets her say no to things that don't serve her growth. Being her own boss means she gets to rewrite the rules of her life whenever she wants. If something isn't working, she's the one who changes it. No need to negotiate or seek approval. This flexibility strengthens her trust in herself because she realizes she can always adapt and course correct. She stops fearing mistakes because she sees them as part of her learning process, not as failures. Trusting herself also means she stops doubting her worth or comparing herself to others. She knows her value because she's the one living her story and making her choices. That self-assurance is magnetic. It attracts people and opportunities that align with who she truly is. She becomes more authentic and less willing to settle for less than she deserves. Being her own boss means taking full ownership of her emotions too. She learns how to manage her feelings without relying on someone else to soothe or fix them. When challenges come up, she turns inward for strength instead of searching for external validation. This emotional independence is a huge part of trusting herself because it shows she's resilient and capable of handling life's ups and downs alone. Over time, this deep trust in herself becomes the foundation of her entire life. It influences her relationships, her work, and her personal goals. She no longer needs to look outside for answers because she carries the wisdom and confidence inside her. This self-trust empowers her to take risks, try new things, and pursue her passions without hesitation. The more she trusts herself, the more freedom she feels to be exactly who she is. And that's a game changer. So when she says she's her own boss, it's not just about making decisions, it's about owning her entire life with confidence, clarity, and courage. She becomes unstoppable because she trusts herself completely, and that's the kind of power no one can take away from her. If you're vibing with this kind of self-trust, hit like and tell me in the comments how you boss up your life every day. Let's keep this rolling. 4. Friendships shift. A Sigma female starts valuing quality over quantity, and that's totally okay. When a Sigma female is single for a while, her social world begins to change in a way that feels more intentional and real. She stops chasing a big circle of friends just to fill space or meet expectations. Instead, she naturally starts to focus on the people who truly add value to her life, who support her growth, and who get her on a deeper level. It's not about how many friends she has anymore. It's about how meaningful those connections are. This shift happens because her time and energy become more precious. She's investing a lot in herself and her goals. So she wants her friendships to reflect that same level of intention. She doesn't have the patience or desire for surface-level relationships or drama that drains her. She wants friends who celebrate her wins, challenge her to be better, and respect her boundaries. That's totally okay and actually super healthy. When she prioritizes quality, her friendships become a source of real strength and comfort. She starts noticing which relationships lift her up and which ones leave her feeling tired or misunderstood. Over time, she naturally distances herself from those that don't align with her values or energy. It's not about cutting people off in a harsh way, but about creating space for connections that truly matter. This is a sign of maturity and self-respect, not selfishness. She's learning that it's better to have a few close friends who are really there for her than a big group where she feels invisible or unsupported. That deeper bond with her true friends can bring more joy and stability than dozens of acquaintances. Plus, These close friendships often become like chosen family. They're people who understand her Sigma vibe and respect her need for independence while still being there when she needs them. She can be herself fully without pretending or worrying about fitting in. This kind of connection is rare and valuable. It also means she becomes more selective about who she invites into her life. She sets higher standards because she knows her worth and won't settle for less in friendships either. She wants honesty, loyalty, and mutual respect. When she gets this right, friendships turn into a source of motivation and positive energy, not drama or distraction. This quality over quantity mindset doesn't just affect how many friends she has, but how she engages with them too. She's more present and intentional in her interactions. She listens better, supports more genuinely, and appreciates the moments she shares together. Her friendships become deeper and more rewarding because they're based on real connection, not just social convenience. And here's the cool part. This shift in friendships often leads to personal growth. When she surrounds herself with people who inspire her, challenge her, and accept her, she's pushed to be her best self. She grows emotionally, mentally, and even spiritually. Her circle becomes a safe place where she can be vulnerable and authentic without fear of judgment. So she shouldn't stress if her social circle has gotten smaller over time. That's a natural part of growing into her power as a Sigma female. It means she's creating space for the right people and stronger bonds. Valuing quality over quantity is a sign that she's learning to protect her energy and prioritize her happiness. And honestly, that's one of the most empowering things she can do for herself. 5. Family relationships can get tricky, but a Sigma female sets clear boundaries that protect her energy. Being a Sigma female who's single for a long time often means she faces unique challenges when it comes to family. Families, while loving, sometimes bring expectations and pressures that don't always line up with her independent lifestyle. Whether it's questions about why she's still single, comments about her choices, or pressure to follow traditional paths, family can unintentionally drain her energy if she lets it. That's where setting clear boundaries becomes essential. She learns that protecting her mental and emotional space is not just okay, it's necessary. Boundaries are like invisible fences that keep her peace intact and help her maintain control over how much influence others have on her life. When she sets these boundaries, she's saying loud and clear that her life decisions, her time, and her energy are hers to manage. It might feel uncomfortable at first, especially if she's used to bending to family expectations, but it's a crucial step toward preserving her well-being. She gets to decide what topics are open for discussion and which ones are off-limits. For example, if family gatherings turn into interrogation sessions about her relationship status, she can gently but firmly steer the conversation away or excuse herself. She doesn't have to justify her life choices or feel pressured to conform to anyone else's timeline. This clarity protects her from emotional exhaustion and keeps her grounded. Setting boundaries also means she prioritizes her needs over pleasing others. It's about recognizing when interactions leave her feeling drained or overwhelmed and taking steps to minimize that impact. She might limit how often she sees certain relatives or keep conversations focused on positive, supportive topics. Over time, family members learn to respect these limits because she consistently reinforces them with kindness and confidence. This isn't about cutting people off, it's about preserving her energy so she can show up as her best self, not someone worn out by constant demands. She also becomes more aware of how much emotional labor she's willing to take on. Family can sometimes expect her to be the emotional caretaker or mediator, but setting boundaries helps her say no to taking on more than she can handle. She gets to protect her emotional bandwidth for her own growth and happiness. Another key part of boundary setting is being clear about her values and communicating them effectively. When family understands what's important to her, whether that's her independence, career, or personal goals, they're more likely to support her, or at least respect her space. This kind of honest communication helps reduce misunderstandings and creates healthier dynamics. She might find that some family members push back initially, but staying consistent with her boundaries shows them that she's serious about her well-being. In fact, setting boundaries can even deepen family relationships by making them more honest and respectful. When she protects her energy, she's able to engage with family from a place of strength, not stress or resentment. She shows up more present, calm, and authentic, which often encourages others to meet her there. Ultimately, the tricky parts of family relationships don't have to drain her or hold her back. By setting clear, firm boundaries, she takes control of her experience and protects the space she needs to thrive. This is a powerful skill for any Sigma female because it supports her independence while maintaining connection on her terms. Remember, her energy is precious. Guard it well by setting boundaries that keep her balanced, respected, and empowered within her family and beyond. If this emotional strength speaks to you, show some love with a like or share how you stay steady emotionally in the comments. Moving on. 6. A Sigma female's emotional resilience grows. She gets better at handling her own feelings without needing constant outside validation. When a Sigma female is single for a longer time, she starts to realize that her emotional strength is one of her greatest assets. Without someone else constantly there to check in on her feelings or reassure her, she learns how to manage her emotions on her own. This isn't always easy at first, but it's a game changer. She becomes more aware of her emotional landscape, what triggers her, what comforts her, and how to move through tough feelings without falling apart or depending on someone else to fix things. This self-reliance builds resilience, which means she bounces back faster from setbacks, disappointments, or moments of doubt. Instead of seeking validation from others to feel okay, she develops an internal sense of stability. She learns that her worth isn't tied to anyone else's opinions or approval. This shift helps her stand firm in who she is, no matter what life throws at her. As her emotional resilience grows, she becomes better at recognizing her feelings early on. She notices when she's stressed, sad, or anxious, and instead of ignoring or suppressing those emotions, she allows herself to experience them fully. She learns healthy ways to cope, whether that's journaling, meditation, exercise, or talking things out with trusted friends. This process of self-care strengthens her emotional muscles and helps her handle life's ups and downs with more grace and confidence. She also gets less reactive. Because she's in tune with her feelings and trusts herself to manage them, she doesn't need to seek constant reassurance from others to feel balanced. She's not waiting for someone else to tell her she's doing okay or that she's worthy. This independence in handling emotions reduces anxiety and builds her confidence. It's like having her own emotional toolkit that she carries with her everywhere. When challenges arise, she reaches into that toolkit instead of panicking or depending on outside sources. This makes her more self-sufficient and empowered. Developing emotional resilience also means she sets healthier boundaries around her feelings. She doesn't let other people's moods or drama pull her into chaos. She protects her emotional space and chooses what she allows to affect her. This selective energy management keeps her balanced and focused on her growth, rather than getting caught up in unnecessary emotional turmoil. Being emotionally resilient doesn't mean she shuts down or refuses help. It means she knows when to ask for support, but doesn't rely on it to feel whole. She becomes comfortable with solitude and can handle difficult emotions without feeling weak or alone. This is a huge step toward true independence. Over time, her emotional resilience enhances her relationships too. When she's steady and secure in her feelings, she brings calm and strength to the people around her. She's less likely to depend on others for emotional crutches, which creates healthier and more balanced connections. People respect her strength and are drawn to her confidence. So, her emotional resilience grows because she learns to be her own anchor. She gets better at managing her feelings, trusting herself, and standing strong without needing constant outside validation. This skill isn't just about surviving singleness, it's about thriving in her independence and owning her power as a Sigma female. It's a foundation that supports every part of her life and helps her shine on her own terms. 7. A Sigma female discovers passions and hobbies that fill her soul, not just her time. When a Sigma female is single for a while, She finds herself with the space and freedom to explore what truly lights her up. Without the distractions of a relationship, she can dive deep into activities that aren't just about passing the time, but about feeding her spirit. This is where the magic happens, when she shifts from doing things just to stay busy to doing things that make her feel alive. She might try new hobbies, learn creative skills, or dive into projects she's always been curious about, but never had the chance to pursue. This exploration is exciting because it's all about her discovering parts of herself she didn't fully know before. Maybe she picks up painting, writing, or playing an instrument. Maybe she starts training for a marathon or gets into yoga. Whatever it is, these passions become more than just hobbies. They become expressions of who she is. They bring her joy, challenge, and growth all at once. When she engages in activities that truly resonate with her, they fill her soul with purpose and fulfillment. Instead of feeling like time is dragging or she's stuck in a rut, she's energized and inspired. These passions create a positive feedback loop. The more she invests in what she loves, the more she feels connected to herself, and the more confident and happy she becomes. This process also teaches her a lot about herself. She learns what excites her, what calms her, and what gives her a sense of accomplishment. She starts to understand her unique strengths and interests better, which makes decision-making easier and life more meaningful. The hobbies and passions she develops while single are also a way to practice self-love. By dedicating time to what fills her soul, she's telling herself that her happiness matters and deserves attention. This mindset shift is huge because it changes how she approaches her life overall. She stops settling for less or trying to fill voids with distractions. Instead, she actively creates a life that feels rich and satisfying on her own terms. These passions often become a source of personal growth too. They challenge her to push past comfort zones, learn new skills, and develop discipline. This growth spills over into other areas of her life, helping her become more resilient and adaptable. Plus, her passions can connect her with like-minded people who inspire and support her. Building friendships around shared interests feels natural and energizing. She starts to create a community that matches her vibe, which can be a powerful boost to her confidence and happiness. Importantly, these hobbies and passions don't just fill her calendar, they fill her heart. They add depth and color to her everyday life, making even ordinary days feel special. She realizes that being single isn't about waiting for something to happen. It's about actively creating a life that feels fulfilling and joyful right now. Over time, these passions become a core part of her identity. They remind her who she is, beyond relationships and external validation. They give her a sense of pride and accomplishment that's entirely her own. So, discovering passions and hobbies that fill her soul means embracing her independence fully. It's about making her single time count in the most meaningful way possible. She's not just passing time, she's building a life that excites and satisfies her at the deepest level. And that's a superpower every Sigma female deserves to claim. 8. A Sigma female becomes a magnet for the right people, because when she's truly aligned with herself, she attracts exactly what fits her vibe. When a Sigma female spends time getting to know herself, understanding her values, and living authentically, she starts to radiate a kind of energy that naturally draws the right kind of people into her life. It's not about trying to fit in or changing herself to please others. Instead, it's about being so confident and clear about who she is that others who share her energy and respect her boundaries just gravitate toward her. This alignment acts like a beacon, signaling to the universe and the people around her that she's ready for meaningful connections that truly matter. When she's in tune with herself, she doesn't waste time on relationships or friendships that drain her energy or don't support her growth. She develops a strong sense of what feels right and what doesn't, which helps her avoid toxic or shallow connections. Instead, she attracts people who inspire her, challenge her, and bring out the best in her. These are the people who value her independence and respect her space while celebrating her strengths. Being aligned with herself also means she's less likely to settle for less than she deserves. She knows her worth, and she sets standards that protect her peace and happiness. This clarity sends a clear message to others that she expects respect and authenticity in return. It's like a filter that keeps out negativity and attracts positivity. This kind of magnetic energy isn't about being perfect, it's about being real and unapologetically herself. When she shows up as her true self, flaws and all, she creates space for genuine relationships based on honesty and trust. People sense that she's not hiding behind masks or pretending to be someone else, and that authenticity is incredibly attractive. She also attracts people who are on similar paths of growth and self-discovery. Since she's focused on her own journey, she naturally connects with those who value personal development and independence. These connections are more supportive and uplifting because they come from a place of mutual understanding and respect. When she's aligned with herself, her confidence grows, and confidence is magnetic. She carries herself differently. She speaks with certainty, makes decisions that honor her values, and doesn't second-guess her choices. This self-assured energy draws others in because it shows that she's grounded and secure in who she is. It also encourages people to bring their best selves around her because they feel safe and inspired. Another beautiful thing about being a magnet for the right people is that she creates a positive cycle. The more she surrounds herself with supportive, like-minded individuals, the more she thrives and grows. Their energy feeds hers, and hers feeds theirs. It becomes a community built on respect, encouragement, and authenticity. This community supports her independence while providing connection and love on her terms. In essence, becoming a magnet for the right people is about aligning her inner world with her outer world. When her actions, values, and energy match up, she sends out a clear signal to attract what fits her vibe perfectly. This alignment empowers her to create relationships that enhance her life instead of complicating it. So, the longer she stays true to herself, the more she'll find that the right people come naturally into her life. They show up when she's ready, matching her energy and honoring her space. That's the kind of connection every Sigma female deserves: real, respectful, and deeply aligned with who she truly is. Here's the big truth. The longer a Sigma female stays single, the deeper her self-awareness gets. She knows what she wants, what she doesn't want, and how to honor her space. But she needs to watch out. Too much isolation can make her close off or stuck in her ways. The challenge: balancing that fierce independence with connection that fuels her, not drains her. So, to every Sigma female out there, she's not just single. She's evolving, growing, and mastering her own world. Staying single long-term isn't a gap to fill. It's a space to thrive in. Just remember, real power comes from owning her independence and keeping her tribe close. So, to every Sigma female out there, you're not just single. You're evolving, growing, and mastering your own world. Staying single long-term isn't a gap to fill, it's a space to thrive in. Just remember, real power comes from owning your independence and keeping your tribe close. I want to hear from you. What's your experience with being single and owning your Sigma vibe? Drop a comment below, let's talk. And hey, if you're curious about how being single can actually be your superpower, check out my next video on that. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Stay fierce, stay you.